As you browse the seafood aisle at the supermarket, you've undoubtedly seen those vibrant red and white sticks labeled imitation crab. You eat them in sushi, salads, or California rolls without a second thought. But here is the real question. If it's labeled as imitation, what exactly is it mimicking? And more importantly, what is it actually made of? In this episode, we will unmask the story behind the crab stick, a surprising blend of history, food technology, and the psychology of taste. This isn't about deception, it's an audit of how humanity has redefined protein from the ocean.
I'm Edward. Let's audit the essence of the ordinary, right here on QC Project Simple Things.
At its core, imitation crab isn't a deception hiding in the shadows. It is a protein solution standing openly under the bright lights of the food aisle. Instead of crab, it is a surimi blueprint, refined, deodorized, and restructured white fish. Unlike genuine king crab, which is expensive, fragile, and seasonal, the crab stick is a product of consistency, mildly sweet, resilient, and always ready for a busy Tuesday night. The secret lies in the protein matrix. Scientists don't just grind fish, they use salt and heat to uncoil and reweave fish proteins into an elastic grid that traps moisture and mimics the snap of real seafood. It isn't pretending to be crab the way a counterfeit watch mimics the real thing. It functions as a professional stand-in, delivering a similar sensory experience while solving the problems of cost and convenience. Once that settles, the question shifts from who's lying to what problem is this trying to solve for our table? Let's look at the cold truth. Calling it a crab stick isn't about hiding its origin. It's about borrowing an identity. If the label read starch-infused minced whitefish, your brain would immediately trigger a defense mechanism against a cheap industrial product. But by labeling it crab, they perform a sensory hypnosis. Why do they do it? First, to define the architecture. In the culinary world, crab is a noun that represents the luxury of firm, resilient fibers. This name forces the producer to use surimi techniques, compressing, stretching, and layering, to achieve that perfect resistance when your teeth sink in, something ordinary fish could never do. Second, to bridge the status gap, crab is an expensive, laborious experience. The name crab stick allows you to own that experience at a fraction of the cost. It's their way of democratizing luxury, turning a common whitefish into a celebrity ingredient with a seat at the high table. In other words, they call it crab to sell a promise. You aren't buying fish, you are buying a sophisticated workaround, meticulously engineered to artfully deceive every one of your senses. Long before refrigeration, every catch leaving the ocean carried a death sentence of decay. While prized fish were prioritized, the pale, bony, or undersized species were biological waste sliding toward the bin. In 12th century Japan, people found a way to reverse this. They didn't preserve the fish, they dismantled it. By deboning, grinding, and repeatedly washing the flesh in cold water, they unknowingly performed a chemical audit. They stripped away fats, blood, and odorous enzymes to isolate the core essence, myofibrillar proteins. These are the specific proteins that form a resilient gel when reacted with salt. That paste was called surimi. Surimi wasn't created to mimic anything glamorous. It was a primitive biological recycling system, turning low value into extended utility. It shares the same human impulse as pickling or fermenting, a refusal to surrender to nature's ticking clock. For centuries, surimi lived as a quiet tradition, until the modern world arrived with a brand new pressure, industrial scale. By the 1970s, food science achieved an ambition ancient cooks could never reach, the production of consistency. Real crab was a supply chain nightmare, expensive, seasonal, and labor-intensive. To solve this, Japanese scientists didn't look for more crabs, they looked to reprogram surimi. The breakthrough was a technique called thermal gelation. When purified fish proteins are exposed to precise temperatures, the once coiled protein strands uncoil and interweave, forming a stable three-dimensional matrix. This process transforms a mindless paste into a biomaterial with the elasticity, snap, and moisture retention of premium seafood, perfectly mimicking the mouthfeel of king crab. The commercial crab stick, born in 1975, wasn't a hoax, but a calculated trade-off. It arrived in the West just as the sushi craze exploded, led by the California roll. It offered a consistent crab flavor in every month of the year, gentle, easy to chew, and exceptionally easy to trust. When a substitute becomes so pervasive that it redefines the standard of seafood flavor for an entire generation, it stops being an imposter. It becomes the new reference point for global practicality. At the heart of every crab stick is mild white fish, typically pollock. But to transform a fish into a seafood solution, manufacturers perform a rigorous structural purification. The fish is cleaned, deboned, and washed repeatedly. This washing process isn't just about cleanliness, it targets the isoelectric point of the proteins. By manipulating pH and water temperature, they strip away fats, pigments, and odorous enzymes, leaving behind only the purest protein strands capable of forming a springy network. This paste is then blended with starches for body, egg whites for binding, and a touch of vegetable oil to round out the mouthfeel. Finally come the cues to trick your senses. Flavorings, often derived from crustacean extracts, add that signature crab note. And that vibrant red exterior? That's purely visual paint, because your brain tastes with its expectations long before your tongue takes a bite. If you've ever wondered if it's real, the definitive answer is this. It is real fish, architected into an entirely new form. Does it actually taste like crab? A rigorous answer would be yes, but only on the surface. Imitation crab doesn't replicate the whole crab. It isolates the most iconic volatile compounds, those aromatic molecules that define the soul of seafood, and grafts them onto an entirely different framework. The disconnect lies in the texture. While real crab possesses non-uniform, flaky, and naturally rich fibers, the crab stick features a linear structure, uniform, elastic, and decidedly industrial. It delivers an immediate sweetness from sugars and sorbitol, rather than the deep, savory complexity of crustacean protein. Yet this is exactly why it became normalized. It didn't win by being superior. It won by eliminating friction. Real crab is a messy crime scene of shells and crackers, while the crab stick is absolutely ready. It transforms a rare, unpredictable luxury into a stable, repeatable protein unit. In the world of convenience, dependability often outweighs authenticity. If you eat imitation crab plain, you'll likely notice what's missing. Real crab has flaky layers and a richness that's incredibly hard to fake. Imitation crab is the opposite, softer, more uniform, and gently sweet. This isn't a technical flaw, it is engineered harmony. It wasn't built to be the star, it was designed for resonance. The secret lies in its linear texture. Unlike real crab with its random flaky fibers, the crab stick is extruded to create perfectly parallel strands. In a California roll, the crab note is designed to sit quietly beside rice, cucumber, and avocado like a supporting instrument in a band. It doesn't dominate. It simply does the job. In reality, our senses are constantly interpreted through a bundle of signals. A ripe peach tastes sweet, partly because it yields under your fingers. Imitation crab works the same way. It's built to hit just enough seafood and bounce signals for your brain to accept it as a satisfying experience. The mistake is expecting it to be a perfect twin when its true role is that of a dependable collaborator. The biggest misunderstanding about the crab stick is often rooted in emotion, fear. When we hear the word imitation, our minds instinctively jump to unsafe or toxic. In reality, this is a highly regulated product meeting modern food safety standards. The issue isn't safety, it's the degree of ultra-processing. Furthermore, placing imitation crab in the fresh seafood aisle creates a halo effect. leading consumers to assume its nutritional value equals that of a fresh fillet. However, the ingredient list reveals a different story. To maintain its juiciness and snap, crab sticks often contain a spike in sodium and modified starches. These function as structural reinforcers to prevent the product from falling apart during cooking, but they also shift the nutritional balance away from original seafood. A critical practical boundary you must recognize is the risk of cross-allergy. Although the primary ingredient is pollock, flavorings are frequently extracted directly from crustacean shells to provide that signature scent. This turns the crab stick into a potential no-go zone for those with shellfish allergies, even if they believe they are only eating fish. Additionally, the presence of egg whites and wheat-based gluten makes the ingredient list far more complex than its simple appearance suggests. You don't need fear, you simply need clarity when reading the label. I want to give you the 10-second rule. This is the fastest way to tell if you're facing a masterpiece of nature or a triumph of food engineering. Next time you're presented with a seafood dish, spend those 10 seconds on this 3-step audit. First, apply gentle pressure with your finger. Real crab meat is soft, moist, and yields without bouncing back. In contrast, a crab stick will snap back like soft rubber thanks to its starch and gel matrix. Second, try to tear the protein lengthwise. Real crab possesses anisotropy, meaning its fibers break apart in random, fluffy directions like pulled cotton. The crab stick is different. It peels away in perfectly straight, uniform strips, revealing the fingerprint of industrial extruders. Finally, take a breath of its aroma. Real crab carries a deep, savory scent of sea salt and rich fat. Imitation crab has a faint floral sweetness, almost like a calculated perfume. In just 10 seconds, you aren't just guessing. You're reading the DNA of the production process. You'll know instantly whether you're enjoying a brilliant stand-in or a proud, unadulterated original. Ultimately, the true value of the crab stick isn't in how accurately it mimics a crab, but in its biopressure mitigation. Real crab is a finite resource. Its harvest is carbon-heavy and places immense strain on seafloor ecosystems. In contrast, pollock, the primary ingredient in surimi, is one of the most abundant and rapidly renewable fish stocks globally. The existence of imitation crab has unintentionally created an ecological buffer. It satisfies the world's massive seafood demand without depleting rare crustacean populations. When you choose a crab stick, you aren't just opting for cost-effectiveness. You are choosing a more regenerative production system. This illusion, therefore, carries a deeply practical humanism. It allows the ocean time to breathe, while still delivering that signature essence of the sea to our tables every day. If you enjoyed this story about that biochemical illusion, tell us in the comments what simple thing we should explore next. Your idea might become our next episode.
I am Edward, and this is QC Project Simple Things. Thank you for watching.
Because what you see is never the whole story. There's always something deeper beneath the surface. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the simple things in everyday life. See you in the next one.